If squats were really building complete leg strength, these 4 exercises wouldn't feel like such a revelation the first time you try them. The best part is, you don't need to wait long to feel it working. The first couple of weeks alone usually make the difference obvious. These are the exercises that actually give you real-world leg strength that you'll notice. The first one is the Romanian deadlift, and it targets something that doesn't get worked as much in squats: your hamstrings and the muscles along your lower back that control the hinge and keep you from folding forward every time you bend down to pick something up. Here's the thing: when your hamstrings and glutes get strong in this exact pattern, your whole lower body starts working like one connected system instead of a bunch of separate parts fighting each other. That kind of strength carries over into everything: how you move, how you lift, and how your legs hold up when you're pushing yourself harder than usual. Now, there's actually a way to speed all of this up that has nothing to do with the exercises themselves, and it's something most people know exists, but never actually put to use when it comes to building real strength that lasts. We'll talk more about that later, but for now, let's get into how this movement works. To do it, hold a dumbbell or kettlebell in each hand. Keep a soft bend in your knees, and hinge forward from your hips while your chest stays lifted and your spine stays long. You should feel a deep stretch through the back of your legs before you drive your hips forward to stand back up, and that stretch is exactly where the strength gets built. It's your hamstrings and glutes loading up so they can fire back even harder on the way up, and if you're just starting out, you don't even need weight yet. Doing this with just your body weight still builds real strength in that pattern and gives you room to add load once it feels natural. And here's where it gets even deeper. Once this pattern gets strong, it becomes the foundation almost every other leg movement builds on, so you're not just training one exercise, you're upgrading the engine behind all of them. There's a move so simple that almost nobody takes it seriously, and that's exactly why the people who do it end up stronger than the ones grinding through complicated routines. It's called the weighted step-up. Think about that for a second. Every time you climb stairs, step up onto a curb, or push off one leg harder than the other without noticing, your body is running this exact pattern. Training it directly means you're not just getting stronger, you're getting better at moving through the world the way you actually move through it, one leg at a time instead of both together. To do it, hold a dumbbell in each hand, step your whole foot onto a bench or sturdy platform, and drive through that heel until you're standing tall on top of it before stepping back down with control. The slower you lower yourself back down, the more strength you're building on the way down, not just the way up. That eccentric part, the lowering, is where a lot of the real gains happen, and it's also where a lot of people cut corners because it takes more focus than just banging out reps. Once you start controlling that lowering phase, you'll notice your legs feel more stable and more powerful, doing almost anything else on this list, too. These first 2 exercises are already addressing the kind of strength squats alone never quite build. The hip hinge and the single leg control most routines completely skip, and that's kind of what FitZip is about, cutting through the noise and giving you the stuff that actually moves the needle. If that resonates with you, then Reset Your Body was built with that same idea in mind. The lack of mobility and stability in the body is exactly why so many people keep getting hurt, feeling stiff, and never building a solid foundation for the exercises they actually want to do. The Reset Your Body blueprint is built to give you that foundation, so you can keep doing the physical activities you love without breaking down with injuries or discomfort along the way. If you want to move better, feel stronger, and actually stay in the game long term, there's a QR code on screen that you can scan with your phone, or check the link in the description below the video. There's a movement that trains each leg entirely on its own, exposing any imbalance a 2-legged exercise can easily hide, and once you start correcting that imbalance, your overall strength tends to jump faster than you'd expect. It's called the reverse lunge. Here's the thing, almost everyone has one leg that's quietly doing more work than the other, and it usually goes unnoticed until you train each side independently and feel the difference. Closing that gap doesn't just even things out, it makes your stronger leg even stronger too, because it's being asked to carry its own load instead of borrowing from the other side the way it's used to. To do it, step one foot back and lower your back knee toward the ground while your front knee stays stacked over your ankle. Then push through your front heel to drive back up to standing. Keep your torso tall through the whole movement so the work stays in your legs instead of leaking into your lower back. If you feel yourself wobbling, slow the movement down rather than rushing through it. The control is where the strength actually gets built. Once the basic version starts to feel easy, you can hold a dumbbell in each hand or elevate your back foot on a bench to increase the demand. And that progression is where this exercise really starts separating people who are getting stronger from people who are just going through the motions. And here's where it gets even deeper. Training one leg at a time forces your hips and core to stabilize in a way that 2-legged exercises never ask for. and that stability carries directly into how solid you feel, walking, climbing, and moving in any direction that isn't perfectly straight ahead. That kind of strength also shows up in places you wouldn't expect, cutting sideways on a hike, catching yourself on uneven ground, or just feeling planted instead of wobbly when you're standing on one leg tying a shoe. None of that comes from training both legs together. It only comes from asking each leg to prove it can handle its own weight on its own terms. There's an exercise almost nobody includes in their routine because it looks brutal just watching it, but it might do more to build raw hamstring strength than anything else on this list. It's called the Nordic hamstring curl. Think about that for a second. Most exercises train your hamstrings to shorten and contract, but this one trains them to control length under tension, which is a completely different kind of strength, and it's the kind that lets you move explosively without holding back. To do it, kneel down and anchor your ankles under something secure or have a partner hold them in place. Then slowly lower your torso forward toward the ground, using your hamstrings to control the descent for as long as you possibly can before catching yourself with your hands. Push back up to the starting position and reset. Keeping your hips fully extended the entire time rather than folding at the waist is what keeps the tension where it belongs. This one is intense, so start with a small range of motion and let your hamstrings build the strength to control more of the movement over time. Even a few inches of controlled lowering builds real strength, and that strength is what lets your legs handle sudden, explosive effort without anything giving out underneath you. Picture the difference between jogging to catch a door and actually sprinting full speed without hesitating. That hesitation usually comes down to hamstrings that have never been trained to handle that kind of force, and this movement is what closes that gap. It's not about looking impressive doing it, it's about building the kind of strength that shows up the moment you actually need it. Earlier I mentioned there's a way to speed all of this up that has nothing to do with the exercises themselves, and it's something plenty of people have heard of but never actually put to real use. It comes down to two things: creatine monohydrate and a quality protein powder. Creatine helps your muscles produce more energy during hard efforts, which means you can push a little harder during your workouts and recover a little faster afterward. It's one of the most studied supplements out there, and it works quietly in the background rather than doing anything flashy. Over time, that small edge compounds into noticeably more strength than working out alone would build. And strength isn't even the only thing it helps with. Creatine has also been linked to better brain function and more mental energy day to day, which is a nice bonus for something you're mainly taking for your legs. Protein works on the other side of that equation, giving your body the raw material it needs to actually rebuild and grow stronger after a workout. Without enough of it, you can do everything right and still leave a big part of your progress on the table. A small daily dose of creatine and a serving of protein sometime after you work out is enough to start compounding over the weeks ahead. It's not complicated. It's just one of those small additions that quietly makes everything else you're doing work harder for you, whether that's these leg exercises or anything else you're doing to stay active. And if you want the full foundation program that will keep your body moving so you can do the things you want for years to come, the link is in the description below. Your future self will thank you.